As she said, I'm Virgile Deville, with a French accent, I'm sorry. I work at DINUM. It's a government agency that's transversal. It means that it works with all ministries, that tackles like all things, basically all things digital. Today I'm filling in for Samuel Pacou, who is the public agent in charge of La Suite Numérique, which is the project I'm going to talk about. So I'll do my best. We'll be here all day with Tristan to answer your questions and discuss. So that's the thing. As said previously, Tristan is here with me to take questions afterwards. So there will be a short presentation, and then we will be able to take questions. And he also helped us by consulting on the project and help us navigate what we were trying to build. So, La Suite Numérique, so the digital suite in English. The pitch is that we want to bring all public sector professionals together online in order to collaborate with interconnected apps, the ones that they use every day for work and collaboration. So you'll say, nothing new under the sun. Why are you building another one? Basically, it's a bit opportunistic. During the COVID crisis, the public servants and the public sector professionals were forced to work from home. And the ministries actually were really proactive and deployed services for the public servants to use. It was quite effective. It demonstrated that they could work from home, they could work transversally between ministries. But we also noticed that it was siloed projects. For example, we had a large instance, a big blue button instance for all the teachers that had trouble to scale because it was very popular, and other tools. And we started to think, okay, we need to go further because we need these apps to be interconnected, to be interoperable, but more importantly, we needed a way to authenticate all public sector professionals to place every digital service that we had for them one click away. And this is very central. It's the cornerstone of the project. We had a similar project for citizens, which is called France Connect, which is a unified login for all digital services that you can use as a citizen. So your social security and your taxes and stuff like that. You have a France Connect button that uses other identity providers that you might have logged in before. It's a bit of the same approach with Agent Connect. Agent means public servant, basically. And we try to provide this one login button for all the apps that we offer. So this Agent Connect button is basically an identity federation where we take the contact directories from other ministries that we work with. So we interconnect with their SSOs, we plug them into our identity federation. And even the ones, we try to have a broad approach to this public sector professionals. So it means the people that work in the ministries, but also the people that work in the local public organizations, the one that works in hospitals, in the military, or even the private sector professionals that work with the government and the state and the public organization on matters. So we plug these different providers and we place them behind our login button. And once we do that, they can access apps, so everyday apps like emails, shared documents, video conference, and so on. And the idea is that these apps, we want them as interoperable as they can be. So if I'm sending an email, I want to have access to my my online cloud, so I can attach a document I'm working with a colleague and stuff like that. And also we have a few apps that help us define groups and permissions that can be like cross services and cross ministries. So much like you would define a group and say you can do this and you can do that, the idea is we have now a layer that does that. That's shared with everyone and based on Agent Connect. Okay. So the approach is very user-centric. So we have kind of two options. A ministry can decide that the tools it will provide for its public servants will be La Suite, but they already have their tools, so it's not an obligation. But also the idea is that because we have this button, we are able to authenticate you. If you want to use a service on your own, you can go on the service URL, log in with Agent Connect, and use it, and you don't have to ask permission to anyone. And also, I didn't say it before, but there is a very cool way of, if we don't have a SSO for a public organization, we have a public startup that is called Mon Compte Pro, which allows us to have an organization-based approach. So we verify a domain name. We say, okay, you have an email from this organization. We think that it's a public organization, and then all your colleagues with the same domain can log in. So we don't necessarily have an SSO or an integration with a contact directory, but we can work like by validating organizations using their domains and also having a contact point with them. So as I said, we have many services, but today I'd like to focus on one that's very popular that you might know. It's a end-to-end encrypted chat app that is based on Matrix, and that has been very popular because it allows us, all the people that work in the public sphere, to talk with. We can search them by ministries or by organization and talk to them instantly if they have the app. So it has like 200,000 users. We have over 1 million messages per week. People can call each other using the app, and we are adding video calls soon. They can share their location. Very recently we added that, and it's very useful for the, how do you say, gendarme? The rescue. No, not police, but well, anyway, yeah, the people who intervene and need to know the location of their colleague when they intervene. So it can be police, it can be fires and stuff like that. So it's or even health emergencies, and it's a very popular service inside the La Suite, but it started a while ago. So we are also, La Suite is also an aggregation. It's a very recent project, but it's also an aggregation of existing things. For example, the video conference that was started with education, with the French Education Ministry. It's inside La Suite, and it's still operated by them. We operate some services are operated by others. We try to federate. We do the login, and then we try to federate services that are adopted by the users. The project is also an answer to building sovereign tools that we can operate, and it relies on basically free, libre, open source software. Some projects are very mature, like and started a while ago, like Big Blue Button, like Matrix, like Open Exchange, so, Only Office, Collabora Online. Some others are new and by more recent organizations and more innovative, but also very popular. Like Grist is kind of an advanced spreadsheet where you can do many things. We are building a new version of our video conference tool using live kits, which seems to be more efficient to scale. And we have this approach where we use open source, we operate it at scale, because the idea is to have hundreds of thousands of people using the services every day. We contribute, because this effort of DINUM is to also internalize more talents inside our agencies to actually code and operate the services, but also contribute and finance the project that we use. Also, that's by contributing, but also in some other ways that I will talk later. The effort is actually, so France is doing that, but there are also other countries doing this in Europe. There is kind of a movement towards this, building your own tools, because you save a lot of money and you are more sovereign, because you can operate it on clouds that you trust, or even your own clouds. So it's quite interesting, and the Germans are building a similar effort with a different approach that you will be able to discover right after the talk, because Clément is going to present Open Desk, and maybe you will see what are the differences between the approaches. And we have an agreement with Germany that was signed in February, and basically we have teams collaborating on solutions that we both use. So the idea is it's nascent, but it's to build the capacity toward that, and to make finance together, contribute together, and other states are interested in the approach. So we hope to be able to announce more partnerships and agreements like that in the future. The idea is that since we build it with Floss, is that we want, so everything is open source, but we want everyone to be able to contribute to the project, and we are always on the lookout of things that could help us operate what we need to operate, add the features that are missing on things that we also need, maybe fix some things that are problematic on some of the software we use, and also if there is something new and it could be useful to us, we would like to be aware of that. So we've set up very recently a fund, the Digital Common Fund, where you can submit your project. You have a QR code if you have a project that you can scan, and it's a short form that has been a lot inspired by what NLNet is doing with the AGI funds. It's ongoing, so the idea is to assess the application and to onboard projects, because the idea is to it's money, but it's also the expertise that we had. So we have scalability expertise, we have accessibility expertise. So it's to work with them, to finance them, and hoping that we can add something useful to the agents, because they are the ones that we want to help. And yes, maybe just a little bit what we are looking. It's basically collaboration tools. So and some things are very specific to what a public agent does. So for example, our directors are pushing us to have a digital signing software so that they can save hours per week, because it's a very hassling task to sign everything by hand. We are looking for a good Kanban solution. The approach is to have like tools that do very well one thing, and that we can increment, and of course they need to scale, and the other criteria that we can talk together. We are still defining it. The fund is in an experimental stage. We will select the first project during the summer and start working with them, and we hope to expand to have more projects in September. And that was it for the presentation, and we can take questions now if you want.